and you try to do everything right. You look a man in the eye and he look back at you, try to be honest with him and hope it's going to come back the same way. And that's how you try to live your life. You just try to be a good man, go by a good word, follow the 10 Commandments, do right by your neighbor. And I ain't perfect. I know I ain't perfect. I never said I was, never would say that I was. And there's a couple people out there that may have not the kindest word for Jackie Bros, but I'd say 50 times more than that's going to say, I know Jackie Bros, he serves good barbecue, he's a good man. And it'd be in there, but I don't understand why you try to have principles, you try to live your life, you try to be a decent human being, and it's supposed to be you put it out there in the world, that comes back to you. That comes, you're good to people, they're good to you. Well, that's a bunch of bull hockey. Every bit of that's a bunch of bull, whoever told you that. Now, I don't want to be a man to question my faith on here. That's the last thing I want to do, because that's a coward right there. But I'm not a coward, but I don't know why God hates me. I know Book of Job, I know all that, I know enough. I need to go sit with the preacher, he needs to tell it to me again, I guess. But I don't know. I must have done something, and I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did. To all this to be falling on one individual, and I know there are people worse off, so they say. Well, you ain't dead yet, Jackie. A lot of people say, you ain't dead. I will trade places with either of the mass cats in a minute. Right now, please. I'd kill me dead over this.
Folks, welcome to the Red State Update Podcast. It's good to have you back with us. My name is Dunlap. This is Jackie Broles over here to my right, and he is, oh boy, he is wound up, just like an old Andy Rooney.
And wound up
Andy just complaining
Rooney
about an old TV guide, Prince Too Small to
No,
read.
it ain't.
Oh, life's little foibles and quirks. Nothing gets past his... The funny eye on this man.
Everybody looks like you, and they're dying. Everybody, everywhere you look this way, you look that way, and you look like you're looking in a mirror, but something ain't right. And then you look back again because you're thinking, then they're dead.
And then remote controls, too. Everything's got a remote control. How are you supposed to keep up with them?
I don't want to go in more funerals. I don't want to go in more funerals.
We went, this must give you a lot of good material, Jackie, because we went to
I'm up in
funeral.
age. I got to go to funerals already. That's taken care of. Everybody starts going. But this, I can't go down the morgue. I can't go
Folks, maybe you're a new listener to the Red State Update Podcast, and you're just joining us because of this crazy election season. Well, you may not understand Jackie's existential Andy Rooney routine. Let me break down a little backstory for you. We're going to get to the politics in probably about 40 minutes.
I look forward to talk about it. I used to be every time I had to say Trump's name, I'd vomit. Or a little bit of spit come up back of my throat, something
true.
like that.
That's not.
I'd cough, sometimes in a little, and I get it back. And don't necessarily come out every time, but it still comes up. And now I look forward to that. That's something. That's the highlight of my day. Let's get to it. I won't talk about Trump right now. I won't talk about Trump become president. I won't talk about Hillary. It's the leakiest weeks. Licky's week's coming out all the time. She's a lie like I needed them to tell me. Please, that's the highlight of my day. Let's do that.
You are irascible. So before that, we usually do our sponsors, and we got a couple of really good sponsors this week. But to get to the sponsors, we need to give you a little backstory on our local Murfreesboro sponsors. Here, Murfreesboro, small town here in Tennessee, geographic center. I don't know how much backstory I need to give them, honestly, but let me just say, recently, there have been a lot of people in Murfreesboro who look like Jackie. There was Crud, the nation's foremost Jackie cosplayer.
God rest your soul, Crud. I'll go to my grave myself. When I come behind you, I'm going to have plenty of guilt, and we'll talk about it then, Crud. And I never like to speak ill of a dead person. Now, I didn't know you were dead at the time.
Crud kind of started the Jackie cosplaying craze, and he also wound up dead last week. Another victim of Jackie the Strangler. It's
not the Jackie thus, it's the Jackie Strangler, which that's bad enough. I don't even
Jackie
like that.
Strangler.
Jackie, it ain't Jackie the Strangler. First off, I guess they're strangling Jackies.
That's where the name comes
from. But it ain't me, and it ain't strangled me, or whatever it is.
Well,
no, it don't even strangle necessarily. They don't know it's a strangling for some of this. Some of it definitely ain't, I don't think. I can't remember. I can't keep up how everybody dies every 5 minutes here. I can't do it, except I know they look like me. I know that.
Well, some of Crud's helpers, the Jackie Fleet Warriors, were a crew of his helpers and trainees and apprentices.
Supposed to be flattery is what they're supposed to be.
They look like Jackie, not as good as Crud. A couple of them that were passable, and they also did a weird dance. Crud is dead. We found a Fleet Warrior dead with all the cocaine and dancing. They didn't know. And possible strangulation. They're not the coroner reports.
They don't know it ain't strangling, but it ain't proof. They don't know it. They just something that I think a name come out before anybody ever thought someone got strangled.
They found 12, 13 bodies
and stacked up in
the Christmas Cave gravel hole.
Gravel hole now it used to be.
We don't know if they're Fleet Warriors or if they're, because there's also all these creepy Jackies people have been spotting out in the woods trying to lure children to cabins.
One of them's dead. That's the only one that deserved it, as far as I know.
Well, that's
the only one.
The Little League daddies.
They took that. Well, you try to scare somebody's children like that in the woods, the parents had every right to do what they did. You keep asking for it, knowing they're looking for you.
Oh, Cougars had another win. That's the team.
Good
daddies.
Cougars. There's another.
Go all the way, man.
Trump and the Cougars. That's the two best things in the world going on. That's the only thing put a smile on my face these days.
Now, the body of that creepy Jackie disappeared, so we don't have a body for that. But we do have Jackie Broles in the flesh, apparently. As far as we can tell, this is the actual Jackie Broles. But it's hard to say. He is under house and store arrest right now. He has an ankle bracelet on. That's for his own protection, so that the mobs of people who are terrified of the creepy
It ain't for nothing.
Jackie,
it's harassment from the.
And also, he is under suspicion of being
Let me
Jackie
get this
the
out
Strangler.
of the way right now. Let me do a sponsor right now. Get over with right now. My sponsor is the Murfreesboro Police Department, and if they're here to. I'm trying to remember. They're here to serve a community. If they call Murfreesboro Police, they're on the job 24 whatever. I don't remember. They gave me a whole thing to say. I wrote it down. I lost it. It's on a napkin somewhere. Murfreesboro Police Department serving this community and protecting it's whatever. I don't know. But that's my sponsor, Murfreesboro Police Department.
Why are you sponsoring the police department? Why are they sponsoring you when you're a suspected murderer?
They're not sponsoring me. I ain't a damn murder. I'm working on that. This one, if you maybe
cutting a deal with them.
Well, they'll take this thing off my foot. They ain't guaranteed anything but that. All I know is this thing on my leg will come off a week or two earlier if I put in a good word, what they said. So there you go.
can't
It's
drink.
good.
He can't drink with this thing.
And that ain't got nothing to do with it. They say it's on my leg for my own damn protection. That ain't protecting
I
me
think
from
they just
nothing.
give you an older model and beeps. And if he takes a drink, they're gonna come bust this door
I
down.
never needed a drink. I just want it off my blade. I'll sit there and sing a Murfreesboro Police Department heroes in my book if I can have a damn drink, 'cause I need one. God bless them. They're in an emergency.
So we went to Crud's funeral, folks, and
Just I don't want to go to another funeral. I'm having enough of it.
it is weird. I will say, I can't imagine what it's like to be Jackie Broles, number one, and number two, to go to funerals of people who look exactly like you, and then to look around the funeral home. We went down to Marker and Hosh funeral home, and it was filled with other people who looked like Jackie.
They're dressed up like me, even still. After all this,
Well, except now they added the ankle monitor.
Well, that's because I got this on. I don't know who told everybody. I guess I did on here, but they didn't know what color it was. He got down, and they ain't real. They just made things a mock-up. Look like they all got one on my leg, which was supposed to be for my damn protection, which don't make any sense. I do have to thank Murfreesboro Police Department for letting me go. They had to escort me there, had me in damn leg irons for my protection as well.
It looked like Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, it did look like Hannibal Lecter. No,
They wheeled you in there.
but they let me come to the funeral. I still feel terrible over what happened to Crud. But I won't forget this. This is going. I can't. That's enough as it is. They wheel me in there. They come in the room. There's all Jackie Rolls, and they all take the hats off their head at the same time when they wheel me in. I ain't dead. You should have had your hat off already, 'cause he's dead. What does that mean?
I think a lot of people are still confused because they saw that picture in the paper where they were like Jackie the Strangler. I mean, the Jackie Strangler, and it was your picture, and so people either thought that you were the Strangler or you were another victim. So people see you, and their first response is that you're dead. Plus, so many people who look just like you are dead, it's confusing.
I know it's confusing. You think it's confusing, and you don't even look like me. Next week, the next funeral, whoever dies next, you watch when we go to that one, they're all going to be in the thing that they wheeling me around in. They're a week behind.
It takes a while for fashion to reach.
They come up making those ankle things I got on my leg. They made those awful quick.
Hinterlands or hinterlands?
I don't.
Listen, folks. Let me tell you, if you've ever stood in the Marker and Hosh funeral home chapel and looked back and seen pew after pew of Jackie Broles's, it looked like the cotton bowls that opened up. It looked like ginning season.
All right, I don't lay this on top of everything else. It's one of the worst experiences I ever had in my life. First off, I know I'm going to have to look at Crud, and I told you what that's looking like and what that feels like, because something went down to your soul when you look in Crud's eyes. And they, see Crud right there in front of you, know it's Crud. And they wheeled me right up there, and I didn't want to look, because it's like looking in a mirror. Now, these other people dressed up, some of them beard ain't real, all this, but it ain't good or bad. It's just crazy to me now. I can't even work it out. But Crud, that was always me. Of course, wheeled me over there, and I said, I need to look in his eyes. They said, well, his eyes ain't open. His eyes gone. They take the eyes, that's all.
Feed him to the crows.
Well, whatever it is, they don't feed them no animal. That ain't how it works. But they, of course, I knew that, but I wanted to look in his eyes. So I don't know. Well, at the time, I didn't think I knew for sure. But they wheeled me up, laid me over that coffin, and I was ready to look, and I knew it was going to be a hard look. Like I said, it's just looking at yourself right there, and, that day's coming, and it's right there in front of you. You see it right there before you, and everybody else, all of you's looking at you have this moment. It ain't an easy thing to go through. I looked down there, and I tell you right now, and I was ready to just the guilt and everything else, looking at that old poor Crud, and that wasn't Crud. I knew it before anybody else did. I told that, of course, police sitting there laughing at me. That they got me there for it. They want any kind of information all the time. They take me for questioning, ask me the same question over and over and over again. But when I sit there and tell them something I finally know, the information I think I have that they might need, and I say, that ain't crud right there, they start laughing like, yeah, what,
You knew back when you and Crud, when he was trying to double-cross you during that franchising deal.
Well, that ain't for sure. There was no double cross. Nobody. He was sick. I don't understand anything that's happening right now. I'm not going to sit there and say he was double cross. Don't say that.
You went to Manchester, one of the locations. It was what? It was Memphis. It was Manchester.
But that wasn't crud there. It wasn't crud.
East Tennessee, somewhere in East Tennessee, and it wasn't crud.
Nope.
You were convinced of it, and you called the whole thing off.
I looked that person in the eyes, saw their eyes.
We
they
don't
still
know
living.
who that was,
No, I don't
or
know
if they're alive or dead.
It's close, but it could be any of these people in the ground. I don't know.
Now, normally I would agree with the police only on one topic, and that's Jackie is crazy.
Oh, shut your mouth. Anybody'd be crazy, even if that's the case.
But he caused such a big ordeal up there at his Hannibal Lecter leg irons clinking and clanking. Everybody's like laughing, and then it's funny at first when an old man loses it. But then if you're in a store and somebody's like, this Kleenex was 30 cents cheaper last week.
Just shut your mouth.
I don't need it. But then if he keeps doing it, it's not funny. You just want to get out of that.
Wish I could be mad about Kleenex. I wish I could. Well, that wasn't crud right there. There's laughing, everything else. And we know how things turned out, so who knows more, whatever. One person's got leg irons on, the other one's laughing at him, and
it's creepy.
Got more sense than anybody else.
I know here it is Halloween, and people telling spook stories, and Hank's coming down from the hot. But listen, you had a room, and everybody looks the same, and there's a bunch of cops bringing in a man in chains and a face mask, Hannibal Lecter, and he's screaming through the face mask, and they're all laughing, red-faced. And then, like a whole bunch of people who look like the man in the face mask and the man in the coffin, like they're all laughing. And then you start, I come up to try to help them. Like by this point, the police had Jackie down on the ground again. And I was like going to help him, like kick him in the ribs or whatever they needed.
Just shut your mouth.
And, you start looking at the coffin. I don't see why nobody had noticed this before. It's just the blood soaking into the cushioning on the coffin, the padding or whatever you call that, the frilly lace and stuff.
I don't know.
I mean, they had crud in there made up like Jackie, but like nobody noticed like that the corpse was bleeding. Now that has happened before at Marker and Hosh.
There's things happen.
Marker and Hosh is not if you want the best funeral home in town, ain't Marker and Hosh. It's Quiet Funeral Home.
At least they're respectful there.
Yeah, the others have got way too loud. But Marker and Hosh, it's sort of a low to mid budget. Anyway, sometimes things leak and bleed.
It was bleeding all in that, and the overalls, everything from chest down.
And it was
everywhere.
overwhelming. Like I could smell. I knew from the paperwork that Crud had drawn up that he'd shown me that he wanted to be buried with hamburger, mustard onion hamburger finger scent in his beard. Because it reminded him of picnics and summer days, happier times. It was mustard onion hamburger finger scent. And, and then, so the blood, the seeping and bleeding was giving it away. And then I kind of smelt the beard, and it just smelled like regular beard. I was like, there's no beard scent in this. This ain't crud. I was like, officer. And they're like, what? Dunlap, what, do you have some information for us?
They didn't say that. They
like,
knocked you down. They knocked your butt down on the ground. They didn't weren't all, how can I help? They had me down, and you come running up to them and saying, officer, they just knocked you down, too.
I got to say, I don't want to derail this story because I think it's really headed someplace special, but I want to say, that was the first time we've both been knocked down on the ground by the police at the same time.
Same time.
And I felt like we really bonded.
Oh, shut up.
I thought we had a good, everything else was really morbid and creepy and weird and surreal and awful for you. I can't even imagine. But like at that moment, I thought like, oh, this is really good, like Jackie and Dunlap moment. I wish somebody took a picture. Inky was there drawing it for the Daily News Journal, but he just drew one Jackie, and then he went and photocopied a bunch more and cut it out.
Just.
Hey, he needs to learn Photoshop. So anyway, we knocked the coffin over, and it turns out it was a murder victim in there instead of Crud's body.
Yep.
Philip Mascat, God rest his soul. Both Mascat boys now dead. Dead at the hand of Jackie the Strangler.
Jackie, and I don't even supposed to say the Jackie Strangler. The murder, whoever's doing this crazy-ass mess.
Can you imagine?
Don't say the Strangler, and don't say Jackie. If you're going to say one, say the Jackie Strangler. Don't say Jackie the Strangler.
I really feel sorry for Mama Mascat. Can you imagine both her boys in a couple of weeks? Like Saving Private Ryan. That poor woman.
Bless her heart.
She looks just like you.
What do you mean she look just like
me?
She
looks just like you.
Oh, she don't look anything. Get out of town if you look like me right now. Half of them
Yeah,
won't
she doesn't live here anymore.
Well, good.
She went down Panama City Beach.
Well,
I don't think she's even coming up for the funeral.
Philip with his brother now. Well, I won't blame her.
So everybody was like, well, where's Crud? Where's Crud's body? And then people slowly started realizing that's what happened is whatever nefarious fiend killed Philip Mascat and brought the body here to show all the Jackies as a warning was what was carved into his back. It just said warning. And then, you know what was weird? It said warning, and then the rest of the day I had that Green Day song in my head.
What is it?
So people were like, you know what, where's Crud's body? And we start realizing that's why, you know, old funeral home, they just had that one. They don't have a big bathroom with a bunch of stalls, a bunch of urinals. They just got
that one
little hole, a toilet in there. Not a hole, but just a little room.
Well, you don't go to the funeral home to go to a bathroom. I know what they should have.
But you go to the bathroom when you go to the funeral home.
If you got to go, you do.
You don't go to the funeral home.
But they give you food.
Go to the bathroom.
There's food and coffee.
Go to the bathroom at the funeral home.
Food and coffee always at funerals all the time. Plenty of food.
That makes you go to the bathroom.
I know that. That's what I'm trying to say. Good God.
That's what food and coffee is what makes you go to the bathroom.
I know. That's what I'm saying they should, but all they have just a little bathroom.
Yeah, they just had that one little room. And so all day long, everybody looking like Jackie opening that door, and then there was a Jackie propped up on the toilet. We're like, oh, excuse me. And finally, one guy went in there and said, I'm sorry, buddy, but I'm going to have to piss in this funeral home sink.
Just.
Because you or somebody who looked just like you been sitting on this toilet for about 3 hours.
Well, we know who that was.
And we're going to say, well, it could have been somebody who looked just like him because everybody here very closely resembles each other. And then it turns out that was Crud's body on that toilet.
Put him in there. Propped him up on the bathroom.
Sick bastard.
That don't have to tell me. It's already sick. It killed I don't know how many people except that one creepy Jackie we know for a fact
that's
that
the Little League daddies.
They did
him with
that.
And
we
don't have a body for that yet.
Well, no.
Unless it's one of the ones that washed up in the Christmas Cave gravel hole.
Well, they would have been a little more tore up in the ones I found in there, wasn't it? Because they wasn't hardly, from what you hear them tell it, there wasn't no meat left on the bones after they hit him with those bats. I mean,
I heard they really went to town.
There wasn't hardly nothing. It was just like raw hamburger meat or whatever.
Whatever, worst thing you can imagine.
But even that's gone, so we don't know. But they they admitted to it, and they for good reason. They protecting the children. So, but the rest of them, hell, I don't.
They were standing guard outside Marker and Hosh Funeral Home.
Why were they guarding? I don't
know if they were guarding what was coming in or what was going to come out.
Everybody look a damn shame.
I know they kind of apologized to you, but I've heard some more rumblings.
Well, the police said, the thing on my leg, that's how they're going to know you the real one. Now, everybody got a thing on the leg, so they just liable to hit anybody with a baseball bat.
They are. They're extremely liable
to hit
anybody.
They love the children. Of course, are proud of them now, too, because go Cougars. You said they've just got another...
Yeah.
They're on a win streak. I need to stay on that. But I'd be proud to love my children, and if you love your child like that, you're going to get a baseball bat. If you think they get in trouble, I understand that.
Well, we don't know who's murdering everybody that looks like Jackie, but at least, and you can't go anywhere except home and here, the store.
I still on this for my own protection. Hopefully, I will keep talking on here, and I'll say every time, thank the Murfreesboro Police Department for all that they've done for the community and their service that they've provided to everybody. I'll keep saying that, and maybe in a week or two, get some of this, at least get the thing off my leg.
So, what were those Nashville lawyers talking to you about?
Huh?
What were those Nashville lawyers talking to you about?
I don't know. First thing, they trying to talk business and all this, and I'm in the middle. You know, first off, they told I don't know how many other people dressed up like me, whatever kind of business it was, and then they told me those men are looking for you the real one, and then I went over to them. There's something is going on as far as this franchise or something now that crud has passed on. These rights or something, or whatever it is, have passed on to somebody else, and they're making a claim for. I don't have first time to think about any of this.
Crud screwing you from the grave.
He didn't plan on dying. He ain't screwing nobody. He ain't doing nothing to me. It's just this Nashville lawyers who I think, but I ain't got nothing to do with it. I don't know first thing about it. If they want, fine. If you want to open up, I don't know why anybody would want to go to a store to see someone dressed up like me to begin with. You can see that looking out your damn window in this town. Maybe they ain't got it in Manchester or East Tennessee or Memphis, but here in Murfreesboro, nobody even wants to come to my damn store.
Not anymore. It's dangerous.
Well, no, I know. Why would they go one in Manchester? So they can have that business if that's what they want. If they won't keep that, then that's theirs. But all this about them owning this store, I don't think any of that.
Are they going to take your store away?
That's what that's. I don't believe one word of it. We'll see what happens, and I may not have a fancy Nashville lawyer or two of them, but I know what's mine.
What a miserable end to your sad, wasted life.
I wish it was ending now. I wish I'd trade places. I'd want to crawl in that coffin or bathroom so bad just to swap out.
So many people dying, so many elections almost over. Goodbye, America. It just seems like endings are in the air, so you never know when something's going to end. You just never know when something's going to end.
Yeah. Except after the election, we're going to stop.
Yeah, we're going to stop doing this.
Yeah, we're going to this as soon as they last. I don't know about this thing. I don't know about Parkers or nothing. If we do it anymore, it's going to be something else. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Right now, I got other stuff on my plate, so I don't know.
More. We'll have clearer announcements soon. We just want to put a bug in your ear. I won't even have time to do a podcast, Jackie, because I am going to be on a beach in Mexico having consensual sex with as many prostitutes as I can hire.
Oh, shut your mouth.
Folks, I am a church accountant now, and I'm going to rip off.
Just shut your mouth.
Mount Shepherd Pasture Church. They bring in so much money, and I've slowly been building up my Ocean's 11 team over the past few weeks. I went to church accountant school. Don Podge sponsored the school. He is a tax whiz. I was taught by one of Murfreesboro's smartest young gentlemen, Wesley Press, who I went to school with. I facilitated in the bullying of him. I wouldn't say I bullied him.
Be ashamed of yourself.
I helped the bullies to bully him. I was the Billy Bush in that situation. Maybe got a punch or a kick in every once in a while. Some of Murfreesboro's smartest people helped me get my church accountant degree, and then I got hired by Mount Shepherd Pasture Church, and they started bringing that money in for me to account, and it was just piles of stuff people giving to Jesus. And I'm like, this is nuts.
Just shut your mouth.
I guess if God exists, what he's saying to me in this accounting room full of cash is these people deserve it. Take what is yours.
Oh, I'm going to tell my new sponsors about you going to have 2 of these things on your leg when they get done with you if you go rob a church. You don't do that in these down south. That's the last thing you want to do is rob a church.
Well, you can tell them. Sounds like they don't take you very seriously
just
more. I would say, Jackie, that I am not just robbing a church. I'm going to pull off the ultimate heist.
All right.
And if you are tired of hearing about Jackie's getting murdered by Jackie the Strangler, then you probably want to start paying attention.
It's not the Strangler.
Maybe you want to pay some attention to my sponsor story. It's got everything. It's got suspense, betrayal, sex, because I'm blackmailing the song leader, Smack Gazzett, and his wife, because I went to some swinger parties with him and took a lot of pictures. It's not sex anybody would want to look at.
Just shut up.
There is the morally questionable deacons. I'm slowly winning them over to my side. I'm gaining the trust of everybody in the church. I got Inky in there. He's painting a sheep mural on the baptismal pool wall, and he's going to leap up out of that and distract everybody.
Get him he don't know better. You know better. Don't get
Does that sound
anywhere
like
near that church.
Any Jackie's getting murdered? Church Jackie was murdered. He was going to be the getaway driver. Jackie was shot in the head by Jackie the Strangler. I just got this news before we went in here, and I'm really bummed out because now I got to find a whole new driver.
Is another of me dead?
Yes, this was actually Mass Cat's. He wasn't actually a Mass Cat, but he was sort of a fan of the Mass Cats. He was a Mass Cat cosplayer.
All right. Enough. I don't want to hear
his life pretty much was church and Mass Cat cosplay.
Well, he didn't have anything left to live for anyway, so maybe I'll trade places with him. Give me the bullet.
You would trade places with a Mass Cat cosplayer?
If he's dead, yes.
I don't know if he was playing Philip or Farley, but he could have been switching off. And I'm going to tell you, when Dead Relatives Day comes to this church, and that could be next week. We don't even know. I mean, there's a date, but I need to pull it up on my Google calendar.
Shut up.
There's a date, folks, and then I'm going to be down there in Mexico with Smack Gazzett and his wife having threesomes all day long, and we're going to get them prostitutes in on it.
Enough.
The morally questionable deacons, Inky. I'm going to try to get some more folks from the church. Jackie, loose lips sink ships.
Just shut your mouth, loose lips. Just all the awfulness in this world going on, and you're going to make it just a little more awful for somebody. Good for you.
What? Maybe I'm going to make it better for somebody.
You ain't making nothing better for nobody but yourselves. And you go down there.
Do I not count?
And mess around with all them ladies of the evening. You'll be getting more than you bargained for when you get back here.
That's not very sex positive.
Hey, look at there. You see him? Well, open your damn eyes in. It's the old-timey country down-home Red State Update podcast and them. Coming to you from a bunker underneath Jackie's Market in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And here they are, both of them.
It's Jackie Bros. The Jackie Bros. One living, the last, I don't know, one of the survivors. The original Jackie Bros.
Jackie, turn that frown upside down. This is Dunlap. Of Jackie and Dunlap fame, of Red State Update renown. Part of YouTube's long-running political satire show.
Too long.
The Red State Update Boys. And here we are, both of us. How long has it been? 11 years? I think we've, we may have had a year or two where we didn't do nothing, but for 11 years, pretty much. We've been doing
something like this.
Something like this.
Yeah.
11 years. So, Jackie Patches, and actually, folks, if you give a shit about this, I guess I'm only talking to Guy Lancaster right now. I believe it was in October of the year 2005 when Donald Trump was giving Billy Bush a time-delayed career bomb. That this, in 11 years, Billy, you can suck my dick.
Hey!
I'm going to F you.
Watch your mouth.
Let's see how things are looking in October 2016. To Billy Bush, Billy Bush is a person who lives in the moment. He's not. If Trump knew what he was doing, say, 2016, it's all gonna come crashing down because of me. Billy Bush would be like, that's 11 years from now. The Bushy can live a beautiful 11 years. I don't even think he'd think about it. Like, if I told Jackie or some other gloomy Gus, like, in 11 years, your career is going to be ruined because you look like the worst kind of just scared, ballless, enabling piece of shit in the world.
Hey.
You know, people would just, most people would mark 11 years on their wall like they were in a prison movie, like, that was me going straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line, slash.
They tell you that, and then they say, and oh, by the way, the fella that you're with, he's going to be president.
Now, people would be like, can I kill myself in this Twilight Zone fantasy? Nope. You have to stay alive. People would be, every day they will wake up going, well, in 11 years, it's all over in two different ways. My career and Trump president. But Billy Bush, if he knew, he would forget. He'd be like, was there something I was supposed to do? Some people would be like, the fourth hour of the Today Show, I don't know. I think something really bad. I think I'm not a good person, and I think it's all going to come back. But Billy Bush is like, nah, just give it to me. That's the bullshit hour, right? That's the unimportant fluff. Yeah. No, that's perfect.
I don't feel sorry for him. Let me make this clear right now. He stepped into this. The way he sounded on there is awful. There's no two ways you can do about it. And I know you may empathize with him. But if there's anything I empathize with him on, it's that job. That'd be the worst job I can ever imagine. Everybody likes two or three things. I like that show. He's on that. I like she's okay, whatever. But, everybody likes two or three things. He got to talk to all those people all the time and not know any idea what they're talking about. Not any. I mean, he could have been talking to some other body on a TV show and they'd be telling him the plot of it, whatever. This what we're going. And he'd be responding to the same way that it did Trump talk about grabbing women's privates. It'd be the same thing. That's, he has, that's his job. Now, he ain't got a job to be a heathen or nothing, but just listening to that crap, all that stuff, to have to know at least two or three things to say about it, and most of it's awful, that's no kind of life.
And he's perfect for it.
I'd be looking forward to 11 years. Thank God. Get me out of this.
There's a lot of indictments of our culture in this little tape scenario. There's so many things. I mean, and I don't want to take away the main thing should be what women have to go through, and the prevalence of sexual assault, and how locker room talk is not, I mean, those are the main takeaways for this. But there are lots of little extra things like this. We got it set up so that there's a show called Access Hollywood, where part of what that show could cover is Donald Trump doing a guest appearance on a soap opera.
It's a TV show about that.
And that's not even, like, the whole show's not about that. They need to come up with, like, 13 other things like that, or worse, for one fucking episode. Now, a lot of us are sitting around going, like, how did Billy Bush, when I I hate being. I see him being like that terrible, worst person, making like a bad decision, probably because he has a bad heart.
Yeah.
And just really doubling down on it. But I think that he made a bunch of bad, like, there's people on Twitter like, oh, I don't know, men going, I don't know who talks like that, or some men going, everybody talks like that. But Billy Bush didn't give that to. He did not think about that. He did not assign it any morality.
No one way or the other, yeah.
It happened, and it was gone.
Yep.
He took it off. It was gone before he used the makeup remover cloth. Like, they had to get a bus. Somebody came up with the idea. Somebody produced that segment. It's like, let's get a bus, and then we'll get Trump on the bus, and we'll get Billy there. And then when they come out, Trump's going to see. See, that's another thing people are talking about. And then Billy Bush was like, oh, what about a hug for the Bushy? Oh, you guys should hug, after he was making, like, rape jokes. But, I not in defense of Billy Bush, but who was in charge of that segment? Who come up with the idea, let's take a camera to see Donald Trump meet the young actress on the soap opera?
Yeah.
Somebody was setting this whole thing up to be as gross as possible. I don't think they knew it was going to get that gross or play a role in the 2016 presidential election, but it was supposed to be gross from the beginning.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is gross, even if you take the sex stuff out of it, that any of this exists. That Donald Trump exists, that Billy Bush exists, that Access Hollywood exists, that Hollywood itself exists.
Yeah. And we're worried about who's going to be president.
That was in 2005.
Yeah.
9/11 was just 4 years earlier.
Yeah.
We had learned nothing. Where were our boys? Were they going into Iraq?
Around that time, Afghanistan, Iraq, yeah, all this, yeah.
Billy Bush should have been on the front lines as a decoy. No offense, Billy Bush. I know
He's fine. He got a lot
I
of
know
money.
what it's like to be a cowardly, craven piece of shit.
All right.
I do.
Don't have to
That's
say it
why I
that way.
empathize. I understand what it's like to be a horrible person, hanging out with another horrible person,
If I was
still somehow being worse than that person.
If I was an awful person and I was on TV right now, you could catch me stop sexual harassing and talking, being demeaning to women. Because the two cases we know, they get fired, and both of them got millions of damn dollars. They got Roger Ailes walked off with, $40 damn million for acting like a horrible, doing that. If he did all that to women, then he's a horrible person.
Shepard Smith said he did.
Billy Bush got fired for talking awful, whether, I don't know if he did it outside of this Trump. I think Ailes, they on record, did a lot, but Billy Bush, who knows he's been on the bus with talking that way. But either way, NBC paid him, millions of damn dollars? So but talk as filthy as you can. Get on TV, talk as filthy as you can. Somebody secret record it or however, and you gonna make more money than you would being on Access
so.
Hollywood.
That's how you get a payoff.
That's the world we live in. That's
I also
it.
don't want to downplay the seriousness of the sexual assault talk or that women are
horrible.
finally talking about all this, and that should be the main takeaway. I do want to say one more thing. When Billy Bush was saying the stuff where they're like checking out the woman or whatever, he's like, oh, move over, darling, or whatever, like, oh, look at the legs. That is the fakest objectifying I've ever heard. Billy Bush, as horrible as he is and as eager as he is to objectify and make rapey jokes about women to please an alpha orange orangutan, man.
I wouldn't call him man.
He's not good at it. I mean, he wants to. The want is there. But he sounds terrible doing it. That's really bad.
What does he not sound terrible doing? I mean, that's real bad. But just him talking about some TV show actor is just as bad to
Terminator,
me.
what would come out then? Terminator 3? Terminator Genesis? I don't know. 2005.
Something, yeah. That sounds bad to me. Now, I don't want to hear about the women stuff. But that's the thing. You said all this is the most important thing. And these are the men doing it, and they're walking away with millions of dollars in their pocket for doing it. What's wrong?
Trump may be president in spite of it.
That's the way the world is set up for people to profit off of being as awful as it can be. Now, I don't want to sound like some wimpy liberal saying, don't make money that way or save ourselves or nothing, but there comes to a point where decency or something has to happen.
Nah.
Hell with it.
Now, Billy Bush is obviously not jerked off to anything other than his own headshot.
Shut your mouth.
In about 20 years.
I don't want to hear it. Well, now
we've done two. We cannot get over Billy Bush. We have done 2 podcasts in a row where we mainly talk about Billy Bush.
Well, he's back in the thing today. He had Trump's wife. We ain't watched it yet. Just saw it on his phone a little while ago. She went on CNN talking to old Cooper, and she's saying that Trump was egged on to talk that way. Now, if anybody's egging anybody in that thing, and anybody hear that, and to think that Billy Bush is running that
And what if he was? You don't want a president that Billy Bush can influence.
Yeah. You know how it is when the president gets around Billy Bush. Well, that don't make any sense. Nothing makes any sense. Nothing makes any sense. And no offense to her, she probably was told. She probably believes that. She probably believes it. I don't know what that woman believes. I feel sorry for her all the time because I know, who she's with, but who knows? Maybe she likes it. I don't know.
She said she didn't know that person.
Well, good for her, if that's the case.
Does that mean she doesn't know Donald Trump? Like they don't know each other very well? Like
that could be.
They've just been in separate wings.
2 bathrooms. I know that much. Make sure everybody knows that. Second to their relationship. I think she said, he said, so we got separate bathrooms.
If Trump does start a network, Billy Bush will be on it, right? People must have made that joke a million times.
Good God. That's just the word. Yeah. Just, he'll make more money doing that than he would on whatever show he just got fired from.
But the show will be called, it'll be Trump and Billy Bush. It'll be weekly, and it'll be called Billy Bush Laughs While I Make Jokes About Asses.
I don't want to hear about it. There's going to be a place to go now for everybody who's disgraced. They all have one place to go. Anybody who's disgraced in public for being a truly awful human being now have a place they can wind up. When you get fired off of every network, you go to this one. And then when this one turns out to be the biggest network of them all, then guess what? Every channel's going to be like that. Everybody's going to have Billy Bush talk about butts with Trump show because they can't compete with that.
There'll have to be one network where people go to get in trouble, and then there'll have to be another network for them to go, when nobody else will hire them.
Yep.
So it'd be like the Trouble Network and then the Comeback Network.
And all of it's awful.
The Last Refuge Network and I said something really sexist network. Or racist. I don't think he'll.
Yeah.
They welcome all.
Yeah. That's what we got to look forward to.
Like Alice's Restaurant of. How's that song go? You know that hippie song, Alice's Restaurant?
Hippie Alice, old 60. I didn't care where he ate Thanksgiving.
That's a long story. Yeah,
it's a long story from a hippie that's high, rambling. I don't give a damn about your Thanksgiving.
What was I didn't even think hippies celebrated Thanksgiving.
I didn't either. Yeah, you got what? There's one good thing. Daddy taught him that at least. Probably Daddy give him one good thing, but hell, I don't know.
What a week. Rigged election, Jackie. Now, a lot of people are mad at Donald Trump for saying that the election is totally rigged and maybe suggesting that people need to rise up. And
he would rather there be right to save face, knowing he's going to lose. He can either be, have some sort of humility and just say, I misstepped, I could do that, or half of the country might be on fire. And I'll go with that. that give me the fire. That's what kind of man. That's the kind. He's running for president.
Folks, listen. If you like Trump, and I don't want to. I'm gonna try to make this as even-handed as I can. If you like Donald Trump and you like him, despite people saying, "Oh, it's sexist, racist," and you say, "Well, that's the media. That's the left. You can't say anything politically correct." They ginning up a bunch of stories here that ain't. They're making mountains out of molehills. The man tells jokes half the time. He doesn't mean it.
What does he mean then?
Those comments on the bus, that's how boys talk. That's locker room talk. Look, okay, maybe y'all are holding us to higher standards. The rest of the country's not there yet. Maybe we'll get there. You know, a lot of women are saying they'd rather vote for Trump than Hillary Clinton. I'm just trying to get inside your head right now. I'm just trying to let you know, like people saying, "Oh, I hate Hillary Clinton." How can you? Sure, Trump does all this, but Hillary Clinton has been lying. I don't like her ambition. I think she's ruthless. I think a lot of stuff a lot of people may not agree with, but if you are I'm just trying to see where you're coming from. Those things are maybe not even true, but I hear the words. Those are sentences. They mean something to you. But what I can't understand is even if you believe all that stuff, how can you not see him as a giant fucking baby?
Hey.
Like, if you like everything else about him, how does his ego not turn you off? How does the petulance and the damn tantrums and it all just seems about him? I mean, doesn't it seem, if you like Trump, I really shouldn't start this conversation. If you like Trump, doesn't this seem like it's just all about him right now, and like he doesn't really care about the country? I know you're gonna say he cares about the country because he wants to make America great again, and all the you know, the 2 or 3 consistent things he said. And because he's not Hillary Clinton, maybe you hate Hillary Clinton or the Democrats that much, or things are so partisan that you. But just at some point, is there anything he could do? I don't even mean this. Is there anything he could do that would make you?
He said it himself. Go down to New York Street, shoot people in the head.
But even that displays some like manliness and a take charge attitude.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be tough, but all he does is whine and complain like a baby,
mad
right?
about, what is it, the old Saturday Night Live show. He's mad about that.
Mad at Saturday
That's
Night
what they've been doing that since.
And when
that's what they do is make fun of people running for president.
When
and
he was on it, he loved it.
Yeah, exactly.
When Jimmy Fallon kissed his ass a couple of weeks ago, remember?
Yep.
And Lorne Michaels, they were the greatest thing in the world. He's just such a fucking baby.
He is. Watch him out, but that's exactly what he is. He's just the most thin-skinned.
And then when he's talking about women, I've seen a lot of people on Facebook saying, like, look, it's locker room talk. But, I mean, it's not just like he's like, oh, he likes women like a red-blooded. And that just grab them. I mean, doesn't that gross? That's another kind of weak baby thing. You just grab them. I mean, why would you? That would be a turnoff to me. If I had liked Trump at all. We said it from the beginning. He is the ultimate Yankee.
Yep.
And I think these things he is doing, being a fucking pussy, being a fucking crybaby, whiny. You shouldn't say gendered. Pussy is gendered.
Watch
but
it.
I'm going to allow myself to call Trump a pussy until the election.
I don't want to hear.
And then maybe I'll hang that up because I'm pretty woke. But I'm going to continue to call Trump a pussy for like 2 more weeks.
I don't want to call him.
Sorry, I'm sorry, but if that's a good way to go out is just calling him because he's just a giant fucking baby.
Hey,
I expect him to stick his hand, like they were saying that Hillary Clinton had a diaper. But if anybody was wearing a diaper, I think it's the giant fucking baby, and he's going to stick his hand down there and pull out a palm full of soft orange poo. And he's just going to fling it at the press.
I like to see somebody stand up to somebody. He won't even talk to nobody. The only place he's safe is where other people screaming his name. That's it. He don't go nowhere else nohow.
He was real mean to Hillary Clinton.
Well, yeah. He mean to everybody get run.
On stage, when you get up on stage, he'll but I don't think he would have been like that to like a Jeb Bush or I mean he was in the primary, but not in that setting. I just think it would have been different if there was like Jeb Bush is like 6'4" standing up there, but also just like a giant piece of overcooked pasta. I mean,
mush
like
face.
Oh, mush face.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Even if they did come to blows, I don't even know who I'd want to win that one. Jeb Bush is like a twice cooked potato. Just.
Yeah.
So ultimate Yankee, just gross, know-it-all, ego-driven, without any practical knowledge to back it up. It's all about him whining. Let me tell you something, buddy, and then he goes on to tell you it, and it doesn't mean anything. It's nonsense. It's nonsense, and it's not only nonsense, but the more they talk, the more you know that they're full of shit. And then they talk further, and you can suss out exactly what kind of horrible person they are by the way they're talking about women and everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change anybody's mind.
Yeah,
But listen, if you are hesitating for half a second going like, I want to vote for Trump, come on over. You ain't got to.
No.
We'll give you some cover. You ain't got to. You don't even got to tell anybody. You can be like, yeah, I voted for Trump. And you go out there and be super racist and sexist to your friends. If that's what they're into, if they're that kind of Trump supporter, just be like, yeah, we built that wall. And then I grabbed him by the hoo-ha. And then I voted for Trump. But you voted for Hillary Clinton? Come on over. We're not telling anybody to vote for Hillary Clinton.
No, we're not saying that. Good God Almighty, but
we are telling you not to vote for. If you need to walk in there and vote for, I can't tell them to vote for Gary Johnson.
no, don't go anywhere.
Just walk in there and pretend like you voted. If you need to prove it, if your friends are all sitting out there waiting, and then you're like, come on, Randall, we got to go intimidate some voters. Just be like, hold on a second, I got to vote for Trump. Go in there and pull the curtain and then come out.
Just, yeah.
If you want to. I'm trying to be less strident.
Anyway, we got a good debate to look forward to tomorrow night. I can't wait for that.
Jesus Christ.
Looking forward to that. I'm going to listen to her up there say that she's
Blow my
sorry.
brains out. It's Wednesday night. This is Wednesday.
Well, that's next, not tomorrow, night after. And then she's going to say, I'm, try to tell everybody she's not a liar, and then she's sorry about the stuff that we do know that she did. And then he's going to sit up there and just say awful things and not make any sense. I don't want to sit through it anymore. I don't know if I'm going to.
I still feel really bad talking to people about Trump and running it down as much as I did, but I also feel really strongly that Trump is crazy. So I still have this sort of thing where like, well, you got to give it to both sides, but one side that's crazy, and then there's Hillary Clinton. And that's, when you say it like that, that sounds awful.
Yeah, it is awful. It is awful.
I guess I know where they're coming from. But then you don't want to do that thing where, look, I don't, Mushface, Ted Cruz, Hillary Clinton, Marco Rubio, Bernie Sanders, any of them. Who's the worst person in the world? Barack Obama for part 3.
I'm going to say it again. I say it all the time. Any of those idiots you just mentioned, the Republican ones, if they run against Hillary, they'd be winning in double digits right now. But everybody had to have the big orange baby. That's what they wanted for whatever reasons. And now Hillary Clinton's going to be the next president, and everybody going to be pissed off about it.
And that may be better. You may have positioned this country so that Hillary Clinton winning the presidency is better than the alternative. We didn't do that.
Nope.
We was on here saying it. I'm trying to be less strident.
I didn't like any of them, I'll be honest, but any of the rest of them would have had my vote over this idiot. They're not crazy. They're, they're what they are,
Weasels,
but they're not crazy.
sleazy.
Weasels, yeah, and I voted for many weasels in my lifetime. I had to.
But there's a line.
Yeah.
Talk
I'm praying
about
for
weasels.
weasels. I'm praying for them right now. Give me a weasel, dear Lord. Somebody give me a weasel I can vote for out of this.
Who's that guy they're going to vote for in Utah?
Huh?
Should we vote for him?
Whoever he is, he's better than what we got. Sure.
All right. See if we can get him on the show.
I'll give him a call then.
Anybody like that guy whose name we don't know that's going to win Utah?
Yeah, if you know his name and his phone number, send it our way.
Yeah,
we'll
send us his phone number. We'll text him or something.
Yeah.
And
thank you for listening. What's it? iTunes, YouTube's, Chacha's, Twitter's.
I'm sorry, folks.
And
There's only
Facebook.
so many more of these.
All of these things are what's rating reviews.
The election's almost over.
We're almost done here, and we're gonna miss all of you. I don't ever want to talk about politics again for the rest of my
He's
little life
done it
I
for
have.
me, too.
I'm
He's done it for
done.
me.
So we're going.
It's not only so bad, it's like, oh, I've never seen it like that, but it really points out how bad it is just in normal times.
Yeah.
It really brought out the weeds. Like, I used to think, like Newt Gingrich, well, what's he like? We had a picture of him up here. Now he's up there trying to rationalize Donald Trump, saying they're going to steal the election. Well, if you read history, you see, he'll say anything if it gets him on TV and he gets to pretend he read a history book. If you give Newt Gingrich a shot on TV where he gets to talk about reading a book, he is there. And then Rudy Giuliani is also insane.
I looked up to him one time, thought he was a good man. One a long time ago. I don't know who.
It's
crazy.
Billy Bushes. They're just more Billy Bushes.
Yeah, ain't no difference. They're all on the bus with him.
Gingrich
He said they're being just as bad as Billy Bush, but instead of being in a bus that they think is private, they're willingly going on TV where they know millions of people can see them and talking the way that they are. Which is worse, Giuliani or Billy Bush? That's the worst choice ever. I don't even want to. Sorry I said that. I didn't want to put that in anybody's mind. Don't anybody stew on that. Don't give that 2 seconds to stew on.
Did you look at that? Look at how hot this actress is.
Just shut your mouth. I don't want to hear. I don't even want to hear about it.
He's all teeth and exclamation points. Just a monster.
Well, we appreciate y'all sticking around and ride this out with us.
He looks like a Halloween mask of himself.
Go on there, rating reviews, all that stuff.
What happened, Jackie? We started out in 2005, 11 years ago, with heroes, George W. Bush,
Yeah.
Sarah Palin,
Yeah.
Fred Thompson.
God rest his soul. God
And
rest
now
his
you
soul.
got...
I'm glad Fred Thompson ain't alive, though, to see this. Bless his heart. Bless his heart.
I tell you, that proves that there is a merciful God.
There
He
is.
took Fred Thompson
There
before
is.
he had to sit through any of this.
Amen on that.
And
Amen.
he left you here. So.
Amen. Well, that's what I don't understand what I've done. Whatever it is, Lord, you just figure out some other way to tell me, or just kill me dead. Because that's better than this. Good God. Ugh.
Now's the time that we both have to go. Our podcast come out really great, we know. Our time is at an end, so until we meet again, we'll just have to say goodbye, friend. Saying bye-bye always brings us down. But our bags are packed and we have to leave town. A postcard to you we will send if a stamp to us you'll lend.
Billy Bush is ashamed of himself and thought he was doing it behind closed doors. He thought it was just him on that bus with Trump. Giuliani, Chris Christie, Newt Gingrich, they going on every TV show knowing people are watching them. And I ain't defending him now. I ain't defending Billy Bush. I'm just saying at least there's a little shame involved, as it should be.
Right. Is there ever going to be shame for Chris Christie or Newt Gingrich?
So far beyond that, no. Look, first off, Chris Christie, I don't mean what do you call it, body shames him?
Body shaming.
But first off,
you're about to body shame him.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, let's just say, obviously,
oh, right.
shame. Yeah. Don't have to say it, but
it's a shame cycle. You get ashamed, so you eat a box of donuts. Yeah. Then you get more ashamed.
Yeah.
Then you stand in front of the mirror and get more ashamed. Then you eat another bag of Doritos.
Yeah.
And then you shut down the bridge.
Yeah.
Thank y'all kindly for watching. And don't forget to subscribe. Hell.